Today, I am here with President George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. You've both been fully briefed on today's technologies, politics, and culture. President Washington, you once warned of the dangers of factionalism. What would you say about the current state of political polarization and party loyalty over national unity?
In my time, I cautioned against the rise of factional spirit, not out of fear of disagreement, but of division. I now see that this warning has gone unheeded. The parties of today have become entrenched camps, more loyal to victory over one another than to the common good. When allegiance to a party eclipses allegiance to the nation, liberty withers, and the people become captives to manipulation and mistrust. What distresses me most is the contempt now sown into the public discourse. If unity is not actively nurtured, then even the Constitution becomes parchment alone.
Dr. Franklin, as a printer, publisher, and lover of lively debate, you helped shape public discourse in your time. Today, we have social media platforms that connect billions, but also spread lies at the speed of light. How do you view this new digital press, and would you call it progress or peril?
The printing press was my hammer, and public discourse my forge. I reveled in the clatter of typeset thought and spirited pamphleteering. But this new digital press, this Twitter, TikTok, or what have you, moves faster than a rumor in a boarding house. Never have so many had so much to say to so many. But there's the rub. When everyone speaks, few listen. And when applause comes faster to outrage than to wisdom, the mob drowns out the muse. The solution lies not in silence, but in education. Equip citizens with reason, curiosity, and the courage to verify.
President Washington, in your time, threats to the Republic were often foreign powers or frontier conflicts. But today, one of the greatest dangers comes from within. Misinformation that spreads through digital networks, eroding trust in elections, science, and even each other. How should a republic defend itself when truth itself is under siege?
A republic cannot endure without a shared trust, in fact. In my own day, we faced spies and sedition, but even the sharpest sword could not do the harm of a falsehood welcomed into the citizen's heart. Disinformation is not merely error, it is a weapon, and when it is wielded by our own citizens, whether through ignorance or intent, it corrodes the very foundation of our liberty, the informed judgment of the people. The defense of the Republic must therefore extend beyond arms and into the mind. Our institutions must protect the truth as fiercely as they guard our borders, and our people must be taught to think, not just to feel. For if the people abandon reason, no constitution, however well framed, can save them.
Many people feel the person who is currently president was an unsuitable choice for the job. The question now is, how do we prevent such a national lapse in judgment in the future? How do we ensure that our democracy reflects the will of the people, all the people, and not just the wealthiest or loudest among us?
The ballot must remain the great equalizer. In my time, each citizen bore an equal burden and an equal voice. Yet today, influence bends toward the purse rather than the principle. If wealth steers the helm, then we are not governed by the people, but by those who can afford the people's voice.
Precisely. But here's the good news. We now possess tools we could scarcely dream of in the 18th century. Secure digital systems, transparent audit trails, identity verification that doesn't disenfranchise. The real question is not whether we can build a fair and inclusive election system, but whether we've the will to do so.
Would you support something like secure online voting, accessible to every eligible citizen regardless of wealth, mobility, or proximity to a polling place?
Absolutely. If a man can trade cryptocurrency in his pajamas at midnight, surely he can cast a ballot. But it must be designed with prudence. Technology alone is no savior. It must be paired with transparency, oversight, and, above all, equal access.
And let no distinction in wealth or station determine the weight of one's vote. That, sir, is monarchy by another name. Our goal should then be one person, one vote.
Let's talk about the fuel behind the political machine. Money. How might we structure a system so that campaigns aren't bankrolled by billionaires, special interests, or corporate PACs, but instead truly reflect the principle of one person, one vote, regardless of wealth?
It was never intended that public service be auctioned to the highest bidder. In my time, I refused a salary as commander-in-chief not out of pride, but principle. Today, the seat of power is often attained not through merit, but money. That is no republic. That is an aristocracy in disguise.
Gentlemen, today we hold elections at physical polling places, often with long lines, outdated machines, and high costs. But in an age when we bank, shop, and even access medical care on our phones, could we not vote securely from our devices as well? Could a secure voting app for mobile phones and computers eliminate the need for polling places and significantly reduce election costs?
Now there's a notion that sparks the kite, so to speak. If the business of the republic can be carried in one's pocket, I say let it. But let us not confuse ease with safety. We must design such a system with the rigor of Fort Knox and the elegance of common sense. End-to-end encryption, biometric verification, open source code for public review, auditable trails. With the right minds and the right intent, yes, such a system could serve the people far better than rain-soaked paper and flickering gymnasium lights.
With secure voting apps reducing election costs, could that make a public financing model more viable, letting government cover the campaign costs so our elections would be closer to reflecting a true democracy? If so, we could indeed achieve our goal of one person, one vote, regardless of the economic status of the person voting.
Absolutely. If one secure app vote costs a fraction of a paper ballot, that's less money needed and more money freed for public financing. You fund the structure, not the influence. One person, one vote.
A republic must safeguard equality of voice. If the savings from innovation make universal campaign support possible and transparent, then we strengthen our democracy, not dilute it. One person, one vote.
Gentlemen, as we close this remarkable conversation, I'd like to give each of you the last word. Based on everything you've seen, our technologies, our divisions, our progress, and our perils, what advice would you give to the citizens of today's republic?
Let not liberty be taken for granted, nor the Constitution seen as self-sustaining. Democracy, like any good army, requires discipline, of thought, of character, and of action. Beware the seduction of faction, the corrosion of falsehood, and the slow decay of civic spirit. If each citizen tends their duty with the same care they give their comfort, the republic shall yet endure.
I once said, a republic, if you can keep it. That question still hangs in the air, doesn't it? You have the tools we never dreamt of, and also the temptations we always feared. But I believe in the ingenuity of free people. Educate yourselves, speak truth boldly, and vote. Vote as though your freedom depends on it, because it still does.
Thank you, President Washington. Thank you, Dr. Franklin. You've reminded us that democracy is not just a structure, it's a shared obligation. And if we want a government worthy of the people must rise to be worthy of that government. If you're curious about the technology we discussed today, including how a secure, inclusive mobile voting platform might help modernize our elections, you can find an initial technical brief at usdemocracy.org. We're calling it simply the Democracy App, because that's exactly what it's meant to serve. And I hope you'll join us next time as Dr. Franklin returns to sit down with another legendary mind, Alexander Hamilton, to debate a vital question for our time. What's a better alternative to tariffs when it comes to bringing manufacturing jobs back to this country? Expect sparks, ideas, and maybe a few insults wrapped in eloquence. Until then, think clearly, speak honestly, and act with courage. For the Republic, for all of us.